metatarsal, but fortunately the pain went away a couple of days later. I don't think it broke it.
Is the crank up part working okay for you?
Say again?
Is the crank up working okay for you?
Oh, that works beautifully. And I've now, I've cranked it up and down like 30 times since I saw you last, and used the scope. I bought a new antenna scope from Ryan on Saturday. It's a little better than the one I had, a lot more convenient to use and quicker. I don't have to look everything up in the manual. It's a little more intuitive. Anyhow, I've now managed to tune the antenna on all 9 bands. So, and with a SWR of below or 1.2 or below, except in the low bands where there's only a very small section of
Right.
the, it's very sharply tuned. But on those bands, I do have an antenna tuner, automatic antenna tuner that I can probably move around on those bands fairly conveniently by using my auto tuner to tune it to a new section of the band.
Right.
So I'm getting there. I ordered I have a lightning arrestor to insert in the line, and once the ground rods are driven and the mast is grounded, then I'll ground the lightning arrestor to the mast.
Right.
And at that point, it'll just be a matter of starting on the radio cabinet itself and trying to figure out how I have everything hooked up. I did discover that I gave away hundreds of feet of coax before I left Arizona. So I just had to go order 30 more feet of coax from HRO. But, well, I suppose it's probably better to have new coax anyway.
That's what they say. Well, I'm anxious to come over to take a look at the rig and so forth as you get it proceeding.
Well, I'll probably be able to get it running. The last thing after I do that will be, I have a 120, 240, and 12 volt in the cabinet.
Right.
The distribution panel for 12 volt and a distribution panel for 120, and then just one item, the amplifier that goes to the to the 240 receptacle that Theo came over and put in my wall here. So I'll be able to run all of that, but the 12 volt side depends upon a pair of RV batteries underneath the cabinet, and so I've got to get, the last thing I'll do is get those 2 new RV batteries and hook them up to the charger, and
Right.
then I'll be ready for actual emergency operation, even if I lose power here. So.
Well, maybe tomorrow down at the club station, you can enlist one of those young fellers to come over and swing the sledgehammer for you.
Well, someone, it was, I think, Dave mentioned that someone in the club has a hammer drill or some other kind of hammer device that drives those things in like a hot knife through butter. And so I was hoping that I could talk to Dave tomorrow and maybe get some help from whoever that is.
It's Mike.
I have a post driver.
It's Mike Petticord.
Hey, Doc, I have a post driver if you need.
Is that like a manual one?
Yeah.
Actually, I can do just as well with my sledgehammer for that. But the problem is there's one 8-foot ground rod, and to do it with anything, you have to be up on a ladder, and I can't go up a ladder. I'll kill myself. So I'm not steady enough anymore for that.
I usually use the post driver until I get it down to about that 2-foot mark, and then I use the sledgehammer to put it down the rest of the way.
Well, you know, Les, I had that's one of the things I gave away in Arizona was the post driver I had. So that will be safer for whoever puts it in, unless they happen to have a hammer drill.
Yeah, just an option for you. So if you need it, let me know.
Thanks very much. I'll keep it in mind. I want to write it down before I forget.
So, Doc, I have a question for you. If you can hear me.
Say, Dorothy, say Mike's last name one more time.
Petticord.
Can't.
P-E-P, I don't know if it's T's or D's.
No, this. That's
I
okay.
didn't get that call sign.
If they can't get that, I can get over there and give them a hand.
That'd be great. I'm.
I have a piece of it.
When I passed 85, I decided it was time to start being really careful because it wouldn't take much to take away my independence, which is what I'm trying to preserve as long as I can.
Doc, let me ask you this. When did you want to get that ground rod driven?
Yeah.
Oh, and it's not urgent. Like anytime, uh, um, from now, anytime basically. I have totally. I think I have about 3 more weeks on my permit.
I can give you a hand at any time you want.
Great. Well, let me see if I can locate that person with the hammer drill or the jackhammer, and if not, maybe just drive it with
If not, we'll just get on the ladder and drive it in.
Yeah. It's the I think the one that's the 8-footer is I think a 1/2 inch one, which will go in easier.
That's fine. That's fine. I can coordinate that. You want a hand with that? I can get that thing driven.
Last time I put in ground rods in Arizona, I got down 2.5 feet and I hit what's called caliche, and it's from the groundwater over the millennia. I mean, it takes millennia, but
Yes.
the minerals dissolve, and then groundwater brings them up to a certain level. It goes down. Anyhow, it winds up with a layer of concrete.
Yeah.
And I bent and I dulled and then bent ground rods trying to put them in there.
What kind of soil conditions do you have where you're at?
Sandy. Um, um,
Thing.
it looks to be free of rocks, and I think it's fill that was used to grade this place originally. So
Oh yeah, yeah. No matter. I can give you a hand. Coordinate with you.
Sounds great. Thanks.
GBM 68. Wonder what that is.
I have a piece of information for everybody that may be interested in doing anything with their ham license, upgrading it, or getting their vanity or whatever. FCC back in April started charging a $35 fee for an application fee. It doesn't matter what is on the application, it's $35 per application. However, they had to submit it to Congress, and Congress has not ratified it yet. So if there's anything sitting out there on the edge that you're wanting to get done, do it now before the $35 kicks in.
Good advice.
Hello, Brian.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Yeah, Brian. What, honey?
I've been getting all the behind the scenes done here, get the YouTube started and all of that. There's a little bit of stuff goes on in the background.
Hey, Rod.
Hey, Daryl,
Brian,
how are you?
Brian, CBB.
Hey, Mike.
How are you, Brian?
Hell, Brian, CBB. Yeah, I got a question for you. And
Sure.
that is the Fiesta Parade. It's scheduled for on the internet for the August, which is the first Friday of February. Will the Santa Barbara Amateur Radio Club be supporting it this year? And if so, who's in charge? How do I contact to volunteer?
Since Rick sort of retired for this year, we don't have anybody in charge of his duties. And we haven't heard anything from anybody regarding the Fiesta Parade. I think they'd get in touch with Rick and then Rick would direct them to us. So I don't really know, but we can look into it and see what we can find out.
Would appreciate that really, because I've been with it since '89, and I do on and off type thing when I was in the area, and I would like to continue it again. Hey, it's over 600 horses. Where do you go in the country to find something like that? It's right there.
Go to a
Yeah.
speed shop, any speed shop.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's really difficult to find somebody with Rick's experience. And even if they did, would they want to do it? Because that's the I asked him a few months ago if he could, if he had any recommendations, and he didn't know if any of his crew would be willing to take on the responsibility for it, because there's you need a little bit of experience for it. He knows all the ins and outs and the people to talk to, and it's kind of difficult to pick it up. But we'll see. I'll ask around and see what I can find out. I can always drop Rick an email and see if he's heard from anybody.
Appreciate it, Brian. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
All right.
Brian?
Hi, Daryl.
Yeah, no, I just checked the internet. No parade this year. There will be lots of other events, but no parade.
No parade.
not-
Okay.
Daryl, that's not what's on that's not what on their website.
Go. I just checked it out on the internet. So specifically, there is no parade. There will be other small things going on, but no parade. No bunches of horses, riders, none of that.
As of yesterday, Daryl, that's not correct.
I just checked. Well, you can check it yourself. It's right there.
I saw it.
I'll look it up, and if you're right, I won't question it. But as of yesterday, what you're saying is not correct.
No, I saw in the article in the Independent that it was no parade. That was just, and it was on the Independent, I think, just 2 days ago.
Okay, then they may change.
Look it up, I will see.
That is their website is out of date.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
I'm also looking here real quick, see what I see. Let's see. I don't see a parade, but then again, I don't see where there's not a parade.
Well, it's on Friday. It's always on the first Friday of August, 12 o'clock.
Okay. Well, they got something about La Fiesta Pequeña.
That's it.
That's different.
Oh, okay.
No parade.
Oh, okay. They got all right. They're having a documentary about the El Desfile Histórico, which is the parade. And it looks like they're having a documentary instead of the actual parade.
If that's the case, okay, I'll ride that horse.
Okay. Yeah, that was put up on the 16th, so that was 2 days ago. So,
Okay.
all right, looks like
Thank you, Brian.
we got a
Thank you,
crowd here.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll still ask around, see if anybody else knows any more about it. Well, let's see, we got 19 on Zoom and we've got 3 on YouTube. So let's go ahead and get started. It's pretty good. I'm sure some other people will come along. Let's somebody tell me if my flag is on the right side.
Yep, it's okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll start off as usual with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God,
Visible.
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order arms.
Awesome.
At ease, Joe.
Awesome.
Okay, let's see. Well, let's introduce ourselves, which is our tradition here. I'm Brian, K6BPM. I'm going to start. Everybody's order is a little different on the screen, so I'll go with my order up here. Ultra.
Actually, my name is Chris. It's KN6NNU. And I don't know, I know why the Ultra is on there, but I'm not going to tamper with it right now.
Okay. John, NRO.
Hey, good evening. I'm John Kershaw. I'm actually up in Vandenberg Village outside of Lompoc and Vandenberg Air Force Base. But when I joined up, I saw what a good job you did, and I wanted to meet a bunch of good guys down there. I'm also a member of the Vandenberg Satellite Amateur Radio Club up here also. But nice to meet everybody.
Welcome, John. Ron, KKG.
Yeah, hi guys. It's Ron Gibbons, relatively new ham. I'm over in Rancho Santa Barbara Mobile Home Park, right across from Doc and Dorothy. And John, are you guys still having your barbecue this weekend up in Santa Maria?
No, we're not. Yeah, that's usually our big swap meet up there, but they didn't get it set up this year.
Yeah, too bad. I was hoping to drive up and meet you guys.
Yeah, we've been just doing Zoom meetings because a few months back we had a break-in at our clubhouse and we sustained a lot of damage, water damage, and we've just got it back opened up again now.
Okay, thanks.
Doc. Hey, Doc, your turn. What are you doing there?
Yeah, what are you doing there, Doc?
You're muted, Doc. Unmute, Doc.
Sorry about that. Whiskey 6 Echo Whiskey. My name is Denny, and on the air I call myself Doc.
Okay, CBB.
Yeah, hello guys. This is KC6CBB, and I'm down here in Channel Islands Harbor and on a boat, and you're all looking good.
You must have been drinking.
Well, it's about that time of day to start.
CKG.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies. Les, KN6CKG out here in Camarillo.
Okay, Ron, GSU, or Rod, GSU.
Put on your mic.
No audio, Rod.
No audio. He's muted.
Still muted, Rod.
Well, we had this problem last time. I think there's a,
His own microphone isn't on, that's all.
yeah. Well,
Not on the Zoom.
that's
but
Rod. K6GSU. He's got his hand up there. See him? He's got the red earphones on.
Tell me,
Headphones.
tell me he's not plugged in.
And he's not plugged in. Dorothy.
Hi, I'm Dorothy, Kilo 6, Delta Sierra Oscar.
And Al.
That's it.
Yeah, I'm Al. I'm down in West Downtown, Kilo Delta Niner, Kilo Mike Zulu, and it's very nice to join up with everybody. We started coming here about 8-9 years ago and wintering, and 2 years ago we just bought a place and moved in. So we're here pretty much full time except when we travel.
Joe.
Good evening. Am I on? There. Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm Daryl, KF6BI. I'm a past president of Santa Barbara Amateur Radio Club back in 1995 and 1996. And very happy to be here with you guys. Ones I recognize right offhand is Joe, DXW, Dorothy, and Bill, UUQ. So it's good to see everybody. I wish the Satellite Club had its thing together, but they need somebody in charge that'll do it. So that's the problem. Back to you.
All right, Joe.
Good evening, everybody. Joe, K6DXW. My first association with the Santa Barbara Amateur Radio Club was Field Day 1950. And I've been bugging you people ever since. Back to you, Mike.
All right, RQB.
Hey, good evening, Brian. Good evening, everybody, and welcome, John. I used to live up that way, bought a house up in Mesa Oaks, lasted 9 months on the commute, instantly sold it, moved back down here. Even with the commuter bus too, I just couldn't hack it. So moved into a mobile home out here in Goleta, and I've been with the radio club since about 70. I think I went to my first meeting in 72, and glad to be here tonight. Glad to see everybody.
Okay, Scott.
Hi, everybody. I've been checking into the Tuesday night net for the last several weeks. Glad to meet y'all and actually see what y'all look like in person. So I'm Scott, KJ6VMH.
Yeah, my speakers are messed up.
All right, Scott. Yeah, I was wondering if that was you. I talk to you a lot, actually.
Yeah.
AI6VX.
Hi, it's Dave, AI6VX, down in Ventura off the 126 in Wells. So you commonly hear me on All-Star coming in.
Are you feeling better?
Oh, night and day. Yeah, no, definitely. I'm probably at like 85% today. I'm pretty happy.
He had an actual cold, not, that's kind of rare these days. Bill, UUQ.
Okay, I think I unmuted. You copy?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Bill, W1UUQ, a newcomer to Santa Barbara since 1975, after coming back from overseas. So it's been my home ever since, enjoying amateur radio for how many years here. So that's about it. Just do work with the club, and that's my life.
Yeah, that's work with the club is an understatement. All right, let's see. Somebody disappeared here. Then we got Dennis Rasmussen. I don't have a picture though. There he is.
Yeah, I just tuned in tonight, so we'll see what's happening. And I know a lot of these people because I've been here in Santa Barbara since '69. So I've been a member ever since. So that's about it.
Yeah, we haven't seen you down at the club station for a while.
Is it open? I haven't been there.
Oh yeah, we've been open for a year.
No, I haven't been there for quite a few months because it's closed down from COVID. Are you open now?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'll be there.
Okay. All right, let's see. K6HMZ.
This is the audio on? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Apologize. You don't get the pleasure of seeing my ugly mug. I don't have a camera on this computer. All right. My name is Brent, B-R-E-N-T. I ran into a few of you fellows at the Goleta Depot parking lot last Saturday. I know that Joe Humphreys is familiar with the depot. I drive the train over there occasionally for the kids. At any rate, I've been a member about a year, and one of these days I'll even figure out how to put a camera on this computer. I live at Marvia, and I have a little, we've tried to start up a little emergency 2-meter station there. So far, I've had a little bit of success connecting with a few of you fellows.
Well, let us know if we can help you get anything figured out.
Appreciate. Thank you.
And just in time here, we got Jerry, NU6B, calling in from sunny Arizona.
Does that mean I'm up? I'm up?
Yep.
You have to say over.
Over. Yeah, NU6B here. Name's Jerry. Prescott Valley. It has been sunny. Monsoons are starting to flow in a little bit here and there. But I've just been sort of retired from my employment at City College and living out here now. So we're working on a few things. Just put a new roof on the house in preparation for a little 4.76 kW solar array on the roof. It has not been commissioned yet, but hopefully we'll get Arizona Power people out here to bless it and put a meter in that I can turn on. So there's that. And so I don't know what else is going on. It's been the biggie. So, it's me.
Well, good. Are you starting to see more California license plates there?
This place is, I swear this place is California Annex. There are so many people here that are from California. Maybe not this same year, but 7 years ago we came from California, 5 years ago, 9 years ago. It's like 80% of the people I meet here are from California.
We have a backup offer in right now.
I called my realtor last weekend and she called me back and says, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't get right back to you." She says, "I'm in Prescott, Arizona helping a friend move."
Yeah. Well, wait, there's another couple that bought a home out here, and we met them and had dinner with them and went out to go see their new house. They're from, I think they're a friend of Tom Marina's. That's how I met them. So quite a few. The real estate market here is crazy. If you have a house listed and it's anywhere close to correctly priced, it'll be gone in 3 days to a week. It's just been crazy out here as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, here too. I actually got an email from somebody. I don't even know how they found me, wanting to know if I wanted to sell one of my houses. They're in any condition.
Here's a wake-up call, Jerry. The mobile home next door to me just sold for $771,000.
Hey, what kind?
Double wide mobile home.
A double wide in a park?
Yeah.
Wow. Up here, there's not that many parks because people are allowed to put mobile homes on land. So you can buy a little city parcel, and put a little block wall around it and put your unit right on top of that. So there actually are little neighborhoods full of those things here. And when those go for sale, they're probably in the low middle twos. But
I saw a lot of those when we drove through.
but they're not in parks. They're actually owned land. So
Yes.
it's, but if a place in a park is that expensive, that's wow.
Yeah, it's crazy here. The things are selling in days, just a couple days. Many offers in many cases way above asking price. You might have left a little too soon.
I didn't own anything in Santa Barbara. That's one of the reasons the prices kept going up faster than I could save a down payment.
Oh, okay.
So I was never able to catch up. So I did save a really nice wad for a house here, though. So that was.
Oh, good. Arizona's nice. I like Arizona. I never want to leave when I go there.
It's different here. It seems like it's a lot less restrictive.
Yeah. Okay, well, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about our all of our repeaters, our radio resources. I talk to a lot of people that come into the club station every weekend, and I'm always surprised at how many people don't know what our inventory is, how many repeaters we have, what they do. It's quite impressive. I mean, Bill and his crew, Wayne and the guys that work on the facilities put a tremendous amount of effort into making everything work. As I mentioned at the last meeting, we're going to be putting in an RF link between San Ynez Peak and the Mesa, so that we will have ultra reliable communications between or linking the two repeaters. Right, for a while now, we've been having sort of really jumpy. We have packet loss going over the network. They're tied together right now over a microwave, 5.8 gigahertz microwave network, and we get packet loss, and that causes us on this end to hear. It cuts out a lot because when we lose packets, we lose voice, and so your voice sounds choppy, and we can't understand everything. So we're getting that resolved. Bill and Wayne are working on obtaining all the equipment for it. You still waiting for some stuff, Bill? You're muted.
You're muted, Bill.
I'm unmuted. Okay, we do have the link radios, and we have to get duplexes and shelf assemblies and all of the other peripheral things. But we have the major part, which is the link radios, which is sort of getting hard to get. Go ahead.
So hopefully we'll get that up here pretty soon, and then that part of that leg of the linked repeater system will be much more reliable than it is now. We have a lot of members on the other side of the hill, and also a lot of people out in Goleta that have better. They can reach San Ynez Peak easier than they can reach downtown, and so they prefer to use that repeater if it's available. So this is going to make it real solid. We have an RF link with a receiver out at UCSB now, and that allows people in Goleta to use an HT to communicate, but they still have to listen to the output from the Mesa. So it's just a receiver at UCSB. So, but it works so fast, you can be driving along, and the only person that knows which radio you're coming in on is Bill if he's down at the repeater site, because he can see the voter going on and off as it picks the strongest signal. So it's transparent to us, and we're going to have the same high quality type of connection that we have with that. And those the transmitter and receivers for those run 24/7, and very, very fast, very, very clear. I'll talk about this in a minute, but there's another repeater up there, 145.16, which links to the Pleasant Valley Amateur Radio Club down in Ventura. And that's a RF link, and it works very, very well. You can have continuous coverage from Conejo Grade all the way up over the mountains into San Ynez Valley up through Santa Maria. It's a real nice system, and this is going to be as good. You may have heard us talk about the hub. If you haven't heard us talk about the hub, I'm going to explain what the hub is. I'm going to get a page up here. Oh, I got my Zoom so big I can't find my other stuff. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here and show you. Okay, this is, we're going to sort of walk through this list of what our repeaters are and how they work. As you can see, we have a heading here. This is from our web page too. It's also on our web page under communications and repeaters, but we're going to make this a little bit easier to find. But these are the SBARC hub linked repeaters. And when we say hub, what we mean by hub is they're all linked together via All-Star. And there are 5.8 gigahertz links between San Ynez Peak and the Mesa, and also Diablo Peak on Santa Cruz Island in the Mesa. And these all link to a computer down at the Mesa building. And that computer runs All-Star, and we use All-Star just as basically as a protocol, as a carrier for the voice traffic that goes over microwave, and all the traffic control, all the traffic cop is the All-Star computer down at the main repeater site. So you'll see the first frequency, K6TZ. It's now, we no longer call it Lavagia, call it the Telanian Comfac, or TCF for short. Telanian Communications Facility, after we dedicated it to Bill. And that is our main repeater that you're all familiar with, 14679. And we walk down this list a little bit and see San Ynez Peak. That's 145.18 or 518. And that is used to be a standalone repeater, and now it is permanently linked to our SBARC hub. The same with the Diablo Peak repeater out on Santa Cruz Island. There's a 2-meter repeater out there, and it has great coverage of I have good coverage here where I live. It gets in the canyons in Montecito. Good coverage all the way down into Camarillo, Ventura. We have a restriction on it that we're not supposed to use it if we're west or on our side of Malibu, because we might interfere with other stations in that area. Not the repeater, but whoever's mobile. But it's a great repeater. That is also part of the hub, and these repeaters are all linked full time. What a lot of people don't know is there's a really high quality 220 repeater also out on Diablo Peak at Santa Cruz Island. And it is also linked to the hub. So if you have a 220 capable radio, that's a great band. There's very little noise. It's quiet. There's not nearly as much activity on 220 as there is on 440 or 2-meter. And it's also on the link. So everything that we transmit here or from San Ynez Peak goes out from Diablo Peak on both 220 and 2 meters. of course, you know, you guys have probably all seen the live camera that's also out there. So all of that stuff comes over the microwave link from Diablo Peak to the Mesa, and gets processed by that computer. And for the live camera, for example, we send that off to YouTube so people can watch it live. We have facilities where we can remote control the computer and change the direction. It's also now, I wish Levi was here, he could explain it, but it is also now on the screen down at the new Carpinteria station, at the Channel Islands, what do they call that, Bill? Cushman Channel Islands?
Oh, you're talking, yeah, the Cressman, well, called CCIC. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, Chrisman's Channel Islands Center.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they have live feeds down there. This is a new endeavor in Carpinteria, and the center it used to be the Bank of America down in Carpinteria, and they bought the building and they're converting it to a visitors center, or to it's like a museum almost. They have large monitors on the wall with camera feeds from all of the Channel Islands, from the Farallon Islands down, you know, Catalina, I mean, everything in between. And they're all running full time, including our feed from Santa Cruz Island. And we are going to have an actual Santa Barbara Amateur Radio Club station in that facility. So we'll be demonstrating amateur radio. It's going to be all full of great brand new equipment. Levi got a grant for us through a foundation that deals with amateur radio, and he got a grant for us that is paying for the whole thing, and so we'll have top quality everything down there. So you'll be able to go down and use the station if you want to. If you live down in Ventura or Camarillo or something, want to come up, don't want to come all the way up to Santa Barbara, you can stop in there and fire up the radios and do some you know, QSOs down there. We'll have HF capability. We'll have 2 meter, everything that we have at the club station, only it's all going to be new equipment. So it's going to be very nice. And we may do some other stuff. I'm sure we're going to want to get fancier than we've planned, but that is going to be, we won't have a repeater there, but it's going to be a really nice facility. Now we also have La Cumbre Peak. We haven't used that in quite a while since we brought San Ynez Peak 2 meter repeater online, but that's still there. It can still be activated if we need it. So that's on 22408, where it's been for many, many years. And we can link it with tones from our radios and link that up. So it's got some good coverage of some of the backcountry there, and also it's really good in Montecito and where I live in the backside of the Riviera, because it's just right above us, and it comes in handy from time to time. I've used it during a couple of fires. Also part of the hub, we only link it part-time, but the 6 meter repeater up at the Mesa. So we have all of these repeaters that we can bring on all at the same time. They're all handled centrally at the Mesa site. And so we have what here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different repeaters that we can link all together. I think 5 of them are linked all the time, and the other 2 can be linked in whenever necessary. And that gives us a tremendous amount of coverage and capabilities and frequency choices for our members. Now we're going to look, before we go on to some of these other things, I'm going to show you a few pictures here. Bill went through his archives of stuff, and we've got let me unshare this portion of the screen here for a second, and let me get some pictures up here. Now up at the Mesa site, let me get this one picture up, and I'll share this one. Okay, share screen. Okay, this is this lower radome here that you see. That is, it's hard to tell which one that is. Bill, is that the one pointing to the island or pointing to San Ynez Peak?
That goes to San Ynez Peak. That's the 5.8.
Okay, so this one goes to San Ynez Peak, this large white radome here at the bottom. And that is the outgoing and incoming connection to everything up at San Ynez Peak. And along with the 518 repeater is also we have the AIS data coming back down. We have ADS-B data that comes from the ADS-B stations up there. Do you get your locator beacon stuff over that as well?
Well, only as much as the alerts, yeah.
So
you're talking the 406, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the distress beacons on 406 megahertz comes back to us as an email down through that, yeah.
So that also comes back through there, and then we have telemetry equipment. It's fairly new. We put it up a couple months ago up at San Ynez Peak, and we also have the same at La Vigia, or excuse me, the Telanian Communications Facility. And that allows us to read things like voltages. Just last week, the generator came on. There was a power outage apparently up on San Ynez Peak. The generator came on and we knew about it. We knew exactly what time it switched over. We were able to verify that the generator did come on, and we knew how long it was on and when the power was restored. So we were able to do all that without having to make a trip up to the hill. And not only that, we were able to notify the Forest Service and anybody else of interest that has equipment up there. So we're sort of helping to fulfill our civic duty and our club mission to be for public service by being able to do these, as well as the beacons, the locator beacons that Bill monitors for, they could be for plane crashes or missing hikers or whatever. So that's another activity that comes back into the hub here. Now, let me show you another one here. This is up at San Ynez Peak. There we go. I think I keep covering up my share screen button here. Okay. Okay, now Bill, is this the one down here in the right corner? Is that the one?
Yeah, that's our feed from San Ynez Peak back to downtown. Yes, and just to explain a couple of other antennas that are here. This is a short tower that is typically all for search and rescue. They have their antennas connected up to their 5 sites, repeater sites, and that left tower there, you'll see 2 new antennas facing us at about the 30-foot level, going up on that right leg. That's the brand new link that goes out to Santa Cruz Island for the county of Santa Barbara. Now has all of their stations posted there to look back in at the mainland. And that's the link between Santa Cruz Island and the county. Part of that system, of course, is the Nature Conservancy will be riding that network as part of the bandwidth.
Now, what's the, what are these folded dipoles here on the right?
The folded dipoles on the right is the skirm. I'm forgetting the name. That's a 440 group that's out of LA.
Oh,
and they're sponsored by Search and Rescue. And I'm forgetting the acronym for the group, if somebody can remember.
Is that SCRBA?
SCRBA, yeah, or SCRBA. What it sounds like that, yeah. And by the way, the antenna here, the one on the sort of to the left there, that white antenna, that white stick going up, that's the Civil Air Patrol antenna, and which we just relocated from another location and put it there. And the blue antenna just to the right of that is our AIS antenna that Brian, you forgot to mention that we have AIS up there. And that white dish that you see right below that is the National Park Service going out to Santa Cruz, actually to Santa Rosa. And the antennas there to the left down at the bottom belong to the three-letter agency. And let's see, the rest of it is all mixed antennas with Search and Rescue.
So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff up there, and these guys got to be extremely careful to keep track of everything. Matter of fact, the people that work on all this stuff, they always, Bill knows more about it, all this stuff than any one of them.
By the way, if you ever get on HPWREN to look at the pictures from San Ynez Peak, you can see the cameras up there on the county tower. That's the short county tower. That's not the big county tower. This one's only up about, I think, 75 feet or so. And you can see one camera sticking out there, but there's another camera up there. And so they're taking pictures about every 5 minutes and posting them.
Yeah, that's really, those cameras that they have are really nice. Nice and clear, and they always seem to be up. We watched them a lot during the fires. Okay, now let me show you another one up here. As long as we're up at San Ynez Peak, let's see, where's the one I'm looking for? I mean, just to give you an idea of how some of this, here's Wayne up there working, and this kind of shows you the stuff that they're, okay, there you go. You can see all these leads coming in. The Wayne's up there testing some stuff, and whose rack is that in the corner, Bill?
In the corner, that's the at the top of the rack is there's another picture in there that you can, if you can find it, you can show it from the front view. That's the National Park Service up at the top, and right below that is the club's business band repeater, and we have two receivers there, 121.5 below that, as well as we have another receiver to monitor air to band for search and rescue and the county on the air band.
Okay, all right, let me switch to this picture here, and you can tell me if I have the right one. Let's see. Okay. No, wait. Never mind. This is the Mesa.
Yeah, I just took this afternoon about 3 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Well, if you guys, okay, let's go back here for a second. If I'm sorry, I was looking at a little thumbnail and I thought I recognized some stuff here. This, if you've never seen our repeater site up at the Mesa, you might have thought that the repeater's in a little shack somewhere, and it isn't. That's not exactly right. This is the K6TZ radio room up at the Mesa, and you can see we've got 3 racks full of equipment, and there's literally trying to find space to put new things in there is difficult. The back sides of these are all full of wires and network cables and antenna wires and power cables. It's very complex. The up here is our digital repeater. That's actually in the building, but it's standalone. It's not part of the hub system. This allows us to do this up here. There's an amplifier up here, a duplexer, and then the repeater underneath it. Over here, we have a GMRS repeater. I'm not sure everybody knows about that. The GMRS repeater is generally for use by approved groups that might have a need to use GMRS licensed groups. There's in these other racks, there's a lot more radio gear. There's receivers for various components. Our AIS receiver is in there. We have devices that convert serial to the network so that we can get AIS data back so it can be analyzed and posted on the website. Of course, there's all kinds of test equipment in there. It's actually, there's a lot of stuff in there, and it's all actually fairly neat. Pretty neat. Sometimes we have to trace wires a little bit, but there's a router back in there for internet connectivity. We get our internet up here from the Red Cross building. We use microwave there to beam internet up to this site so that we have internet connectivity up there and we don't have to pay extra for it. And so it's much more sophisticated than a lot of people might think it is. I know this was before my time, but the repeater originally was in a plywood shack. And Bill got this project underway and got it built, and it's beautiful. It's air conditioned. The only thing it lacks is a bathroom. So it's quite impressive. If you get an opportunity to go up there and take a look at it, you should, because it's just amazing, the stuff. This is the let me see. Oh no, this is San Ynez Peak. Let me find the other one I was looking for here. I wanted to show Wayne. Oh, okay, here. This is this photograph here is this is Wayne. Well, Bill, let me share this, and you can fill us in on this thing here. This is for power distribution, but
yeah, this here is the crossover network at San Ynez Peak, and the building we are in belongs to the Forest Service. It was built in about the late 1940s, and everything up there is a concrete building, and it just barely meets the needs of everybody that's in there, because it's the Forest Service and the county and government radios, and the 4 other systems that are up there are the radio group and Civil Air Patrol, Search and Rescue, the Red Cross, the National Park Service, and who am I missing? That are also occupying that building. But anyway, this is the crossover network that Wayne has been working on this past month. And you'll see the wires coming in on the lower left there. So what we basically want to know on that hilltop, when the standby generator comes on and transfers power, who knows about it? We don't know, because all we know is that the main power, which is supplied by PG&E, went off, and the generator came up and transferred the power. But we never got notification. So we don't know what is happening on the hill, and especially with the fires and all. And the power may be up and down. And of course, everybody's covered by battery, and we were not covered by battery until just recently, when we started putting, when Wayne, who is our power engineer, put batteries on virtually everything we could get them on. So, but this is the main contactor in the center that actually does the transfer.
Okay, now I was quickly back to the Mesa. I wanted to show you the other side of the room here. As soon as it comes up, let's see, where is it? All right, this is down at the Mesa site. Okay.
Yeah, that there is the other side of the room. The building is 22 feet long and about, I guess about 10 feet wide or so. And the building was made all complete up in North Dakota, transported down by a flatbed truck, and it was complete with everything, with all the racks, standby power, wiring, all kinds of various things that were built into the building. We didn't have to put anything together, not even the fluorescent lights. And it was offloaded, and we'll show them on another occasion how we offloaded this whole building onto the concrete there. But this is the other side of the room where our workbench is.
Okay, yeah, so I mean, you can see there's just a ton of stuff, ton of work to be done to maintain this. This, let me see, this is, that's right. I was going to ask you what this stuff was here, Bill. Let me share the screen. Sorry, I'm trying to do these individually because they're all different sizes. Okay, okay, this one here, Bill.
Well, that there is all Wayne's work there on the right-hand side. And prior to Wayne's coming in with us, doing a lot of the technical work, because he's a design engineer, we had very primitive type of power supplies, linear power supplies, and we had battery backup and everything, but doing it the old way. But Wayne came in with some new ideas, using inverters and so forth, and floating power supplies that keep the high level stuff working. But if we start having power issues, then he sheds off the power on various things. For example, we would not need AIS or some of the other stuff, and we can start shedding that power off. Now we do have a backup, a generator, which is 35 kW, and that supplies the whole site. It supplies the city of Santa Barbara with all the police and fire, and we're on that grid, and along with AT&T. So we're on that same system. But we do have a battery here to keep everything running, and that's all new things that have gone in with Wayne's design. He's not with us tonight because he's on a trip right now.
Yeah, he's really put a lot of effort into this. It's this is a high quality system now. We can survive almost anything and that keep our systems all up and running. Let's go out to Diablo Peak here and take a look at a couple of the things out there. Now, I don't want you to be too disappointed that this is not quite as neat as everything else, but you got to keep in mind that when crew goes out there, they have a limited amount of time. They're generally dropped off by a helicopter and they've got X amount of hours to get all their work done and test everything, and the helicopter comes back and they better be on it unless they want to stay there for a while. So this is some of the equipment. This doesn't show the radios, but this shows like the power distribution system. There's a punch down panel. There's some fuses and various things. There's an internet router. That's this thing here in the center with the green stripe as a router that helps manage the part of the stuff that's connected to the hub here in Santa Barbara. And it's not as nice a building as we have at the Mesa, but it works, and they keep everything running. I think the biggest thing out there is power, because the batteries are hard to get up to the peak. When they replace batteries or they have to remove the old ones, batteries are heavy. Helicopters don't, pick up 5,000 pounds worth of stuff for you just on a whim. And so the logistics of keeping this all working is it's very difficult to manage everything when Bill takes a crew out there to the island. I mean, they double, triple check every tool, every fitting, every roll of tape, everything they're taking with them to make sure they have what they need when they get there. And because they just don't get a second chance. Just a second, we got a couple of people want to check in. Okay. All right. I got one more picture out from the island out there. Let's show that one. Okay, yeah, this is what I was going to ask. I haven't seen this, so Bill, let me have you tell me what all this is. It looks like that's the batteries here. Okay.
Yeah, that's our battery bank that supplies the site right now. That was a trade-off. The batteries prior to this was a former cellular site by GT MobileNet, and this room, everything you see there was no space at all. It was just packed full of batteries. And of course, that site in the early days of cellular radio, they had to have they had high-level sites, and Santa Cruz Island was considered as a choice spot because it looked back at the mainland, but it was very expensive to maintain. So they came in with other microcells on the mainland, and they really didn't need this site, but they were under contract to the Nature Conservancy to keep that site going for the Conservancy, and it never did work right. And there's a long issue and stories that go behind that. But when they finally pulled out, this battery bank here has been in there about 8 years now, and this is what they replaced it with. And because they just couldn't leave it, everything there else that go dead. We're going to come up to a period of time when we're going to have end of life out there. And we have no support, absolutely zero support on anything that goes on out there. In other words, there's no heavy spender. There's nobody coming in with big dollars to float this. So when we reach end of life with the tower and everything else out there, it's a toss up right now as to which way it's going to go. So this is coming under discussion now as to what our forward plan is for that.
How much do you think those batteries weigh, Bill?
Oh, probably about 75 pounds each. And this is a 24-volt system. We prefer all of our sites to have 24 volts as the primary voltage on a system. Going with 12 volts is a loser, mainly because you start dropping line voltage and so forth. And the wire sizes have to be big. And of course, when the controller gets down to about 11.5 volts, you start having squirrely problems. But if you start off with a 24-volt system and you have inverters everywhere that take care of it, and it'll keep it stabilized at 12 volts at each location. So we prefer the 24-volt systems. We're not able to do so everywhere, but I think in time everything will be at 24. But if you have a commercial site that has microwave, it's minus 48 volts. So the positive side is grounded and it's minus 48 volts. And then you have to have inverters to convert everything over to 12 volts. And it's got to be isolated and everything else. This site came in at 24 volts.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to the document here with all the repeaters and we can move down the list here. Let's see. Let me share this again. Okay. All right. Well, that's basically what the hub is. What we're just showing you. All of those things are all interconnected via microwave. We are, like I said, we are splitting off the 14518 repeater to a direct RF link so that that won't technically be on the hub anymore, but everything else at San Ynez Peak will be. It's all a lot of data and stuff comes through there. Now there's some other repeaters. I mentioned this earlier, the San Ynez Peak, there's a 2-meter repeater up there. It's called the 516 repeater. It's only very close to the other repeater as far as frequency. This one's 14516. And this is the one that is linked via an RF link with the Pleasant Valley Amateur Radio Network. And it's actually a fairly active repeater. Especially in the mornings and in the evenings, there's a lot of nets that they have that we're invited to participate into for new hams. There's a newbie net. I think it's on Sunday nights. And it's especially for new hams, and they get a pretty good turnout. The last time I listened to it, it's actually the newbie net is on a repeater. It's called the Bozo repeater, and they link this in to this system for their nets. And so there's another resource right here in town that we're really not participating much in, but that 14516 repeater has a very good coverage. I think it's a little better than our 518 repeater. Anyway, that's there for use. So you guys keep that in mind. Now,
could I say something about that,
yeah.
Brian? Yeah, this is a brand new system, guys, and it's permanently linked with the folks down at Ventura County, and they have, because of the rolling hills over there, they report into one station. So we are linked into that one station, the EVY repeater, full time. Now you don't have to operate any buttons on our end. But just remember, when you get on up at 516, you're talking all the way down through Thousand Oaks, Ventura, Ojai, and so forth. And of course, up to Santa Maria, along the highway, and around Santa Barbara. And we are working on now that will be our drop-off point for our ELT monitoring system, which is what we're working on now. So we do we monitor the emergency channels of 406, which goes up to the Air Force and Coast Guard satellites that are up there monitoring worldwide. They monitor the system, and we monitor 121.5 and working with Michael right now, putting in that 121.5 receiver. And we will be monitoring that through 516. So if we hear an ELT, we go on 516 and listen to it right there. So again, if you want to use the system, just get on and use it. You don't have any buttons to push, nothing to link or anything else. We take care of all of that. So we don't have any codes to worry about. But just remember, anytime you get on there, you're talking to the world going south.
Yes, that's right. And they use it quite a bit. That's one of their main repeaters down there. But and I think the plan eventually, when they're able to, is to get it all the way up through San Luis Obispo. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Now also up at the Mesa is our Tzed 440 repeater. A lot of people don't even know we have a 440 repeater. That's frequency 446.400. And it is frequently used for All-Star communications to connect with other repeaters. There's the wind system, and there's several All-Star nodes around the western part of the United States, actually all across the country. But if you monitor that repeater, you're likely to hear stuff going on in different parts of the country, different parts of the western United States, and actually a lot of times on the WinLink system, the wind system. And that's the one, if you want to experiment with All-Star, you don't need any special equipment on your end. All you need is a radio with a touch tone pad. All the commands that you need to learn to utilize it, there's not a lot of them. You just have to connect to a node and then disconnect when you're done. But they are all on the website. If you look at the website, this looks exactly the same, except you'll be able to click on the VoIP commands. That's basically the control codes that you need to enter to get to another node. And it's a lot of fun. We have several members that like to do that, and other people have never heard of it. The next repeater I mentioned a little bit earlier, that's our digital fusion repeater. It's a Yaesu system fusion repeater, but we sort of hotwired it to make it bridge over to DMR as well. So Santa Barbara Amateur Radio Club has our own DMR talk group. It's 31073, and it's the SBARC talk group, and that's the one that we use on Tuesday nights. And we can use DMR radios with that, and with a hotspot, or also there's a digital repeater up on San Ynez Peak. Doesn't belong to us, it belongs to the Papa system, but they have the Santa Barbara, the SBARC talk group as a live talk group up there on that repeater. So we're free to use that repeater as part of as an extended part of our network. Also works with hotspots. But a lot of us, I know I took a count one time, there's about 25 people with Yaesu System Fusion capable radios, which gives you, 2 meter 440 and also digital fusion and DMR. So you can operate all that off that one radio. Now, UC Santa Barbara, there's a 220 repeater, and that's also the site where they monitor the ELT beacons for the emergency emergency locator transmitters. Is that right, Bill?
Correct. And just something about that. This sits on top of the library building, which is at 525 feet above sea level. It's the second highest outside of the tower over there at UC. But the good thing about it is that if an ELT goes off at the airport, whether it's in a hangar, on an airplane, or whatever, and we want to listen to it, we do it through the 220 repeater out there. And frankly, nobody ever gets on that repeater at all. I never hear anybody on it, but that's okay. It's an older system. And but we do have the 121.5 monitor out there, and it's a great addition to everything else. Plus the fact in the rack, we have a 1.9 receiver on a 438.26 linked to downtown. So it is a one-way link that listens to 1.9. So you can sit in your easy chair down at in Goleta and talk into the 7.9 repeater downtown.
Okay, let's see. Now the last repeater here on the list is, of course, the SBARC Rover. That repeater still works, and if in the case of an emergency, we can roll that out. We can put an antenna on the mast and put it up in the air, and we can use that as a repeater from some promontory point somewhere in town and provide additional communications. Now, if you want to program this in your radio, you want to keep in mind that this has an odd split. If you look at these bottom two numbers here, they're not your common, the common split for 2 meters. So you have to program these in separately. And and occasionally we put it up in the air and give it a workout and make sure everything works okay. Usually does. We had a couple problems, but I think they were resolved. So it's available, and it's also been used in the past for some of the events that we've helped with, like the Dirty 100 that was takes place in the backcountry of Santa Ynez, for the Santa Ynez Mountains. And there's no radio coverage back there at all. So we take the rover up to the top of go up Gibraltar all the way to the top and park the rover, and had full coverage with this repeater in that area. So it's got its uses. Doesn't get utilized too much, especially in the last year and a half, but it's the rover's fully equipped. Then we move on down here. Still more equipment that we have is we have our APRS network. There's one located on the Mesa. There is a Bill, can you tell me what the status is of Diablo and La Cumbre Peak?
Diablo and La Cumbre?
Yeah, for APRS.
You mean in terms of what? I'm looking at it here. Diablo and what's going on out there at Diablo, you mean?
Is the APRS functioning out there?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. It's only downtown right now.
Only downtown.
Yeah.
Okay, so the La Cumbre and the Diablo Peak ones are not functioning.
Yeah.
Probably should note that.
Okay, and then of course we've got the packet radio. There's a packet radio down at the on the Mesa, and there's another one up on La Cumbre Peak. And packet radio is actually a lot of fun. You need to have a TNC or a radio with one that's capable of doing that. There's not very many of them. There's only a couple that I know of. One of them is there's a couple of Kenwoods actually. One of them's a D710, I think, and they have built-in TNCs, or you can use a Cantronics TNC. TNC stands for Terminal Node Controller. And what that does is it lets you use your computer and you can type messages. There's a little mail server type thing that you can leave messages for other people. it's kind of fun, but you got to have somebody with equivalent equipment. And I was doing it for a while, and I could never find anybody to talk to. So it was, I think I got 2 messages that were left for me, and that was about it. But it works, and it's actually fun. You can take the one on Lacumba Peak, for example. I go through Lacumba Peak and I go to South Mountain in Ventura, and from there I could get to the Simi Valley Police Department, where they had a WinLink 2000 node server there, and I could send email that way. So went through WinLink 2000. It was very reliable and it worked. I don't know, it's been a while since I've done that, but I don't know if it's still there, but it lets you bounce from one to the other to the other. There's also one on Catalina, and from Catalina you can get way down into Southern California, into Orange County, and it's sort of like daisy chaining repeaters, and you can connect through the one on Lacumba Peak and then go to Catalina, for example, and when it gets to Catalina, you log on, and then you go, you see what's available, and then you go to the next one. So each hop that you make takes a little longer, but it is a lot of fun. It's you got to learn how to type all the commands, unfortunately. But anyway, so that kind of gives you an idea of our inventory and all the things that we have available and all the things that we maintain. One thing, when you renew your club membership, that little box down there, it says Repeater Fund. Well, that's what it goes to. There's all of these things.
Yeah, Brian, can I interrupt a little bit here?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I want to say that if you were to take all the club's assets that you see, and this is only the tip, we haven't even gotten into any of the systems at all and all the things that we do. We could probably talk for hours. But if you were to take all of the assets that the club has at the club station and in the repeater, 6 repeater sites and all of the things we do and in the community and so forth, and emergency services to do with the ELT network and AIS and ADSB and all of the other things like that, if you had to replace everything that we have, say it just vanished, and if you had to replace it, your total cost would be probably up to $1 million or more. So, I mean, for a little small radio club with 150 members and with their hands on about $1 million worth of equipment, is, this just didn't happen in a day. It's taken years to do this. And there's little pockets all over the place. Even I get lost because I don't know what's going on from group to group. And I decided not to try to even keep up with it, but let people do their own thing. We're here to help them, to give them a place to operate from and to experiment from and all of that kind of thing. A lot of it is entry level, a lot of it is advanced level, but wherever you find a pocket, jump into it, have fun. But believe me, if you were to try to replace it, you'd be up over, I'm sure, over $1 million. And that's pretty good.
Yeah, what we didn't show is the actual repeaters themselves. I mean, these are workhorses that are the size of an apartment refrigerator in some cases. They're in the racks, but they're not obvious to the casual user which is the repeater and what all the different parts are. But all of this stuff has been meticulously maintained. Some of the repeaters are old, but they're used because they were built to last for a long, long time, and not like the Chinese stuff now. These things are, they're repairable. They're almost irreplaceable. So Bill has been doing this for a long, long time. As people join the club that are interested in these kinds of things, they get involved and start learning about it. And there's just there's the whole goal, like Bill said, is to provide a platform for all of our members to have something to do, whatever interests you. We probably have that capability somewhere throughout the club. And yeah, Daryl, go ahead.
You're talking about the value of our hardware equipment. How about the value of the sites that we're using? On the island, on Tzed on the Mesa, up there, San Ynez Peak, and the fact that we're linked in with all of these other sites. You can't put a figure on this. It's absolutely priceless. It's just great. And for all the folks that have put in so many hours, not have, but continually put in hours, so much time. Bill, of course, and his team, and Levi and Wayne and all the rest of the guys, they go out there and climb up on towers. I quit doing that sort of thing long ago. Probably most of us wouldn't dare consider it. It's just a fantastic facility that we have.
Yeah, the number of sites we have, of course, downtown, we have an agreement with the city, and we've been there since Pete Nicklin was down at the radio shop back in the early 60s and so forth. Pete is not with us any longer, but so we have downtown, we have UCSB, we got San Ynez Peak by agreement with the Forest Service, and we got La Cumbre Peak by agreement with the county and with Cox Cable, because we have 2 sites at La Cumbre Peak, by the way. And then the agreement and the island site, we had an agreement with the Nature Conservancy, but they're not wanting to renew our lease permit out there, mainly because they don't know where that land is ever going to go out there. Nobody has any particular interest in Diablo outside of the 6 or 7 groups of people that's there. But our footprint is there. We've been the longest there. As a matter of fact, I was one of the first up there with Ted Green when he established the site. So, we have to work with the people that have these hilltops, and whether they ask us for an agreement or not, we kind of go with the flow. But if you had to pay by the foot, what they call the footprint, the rental fees would just kill us. There's no way we could ever keep up with it.
Yeah, they're very valuable. We are probably the only, other than the county, probably the only group that has access to all of these different sites.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only that, through Bill and Wayne and everybody else that helps out, they're providing a service, and they, believe it or not, to a certain extent, they depend on us. We've helped out a lot of times. We've notified them when there are problems that they didn't even know about. They had the generator one time up at the Mesa didn't turn on when it was supposed to, and the power was out, and they were literally hours away from having no communications. And it wasn't them that found it; it was Bill, and notified them. And they put a new battery in the generator and got it started up. But the same thing, we put in these telemetry gathering systems up at San Ynez Peak. We'll have one that'll go out on the island next time we make a trip. But that enabled us to tell that there was a power outage, and we were able to confirm that the generator did in fact come on, did what it was supposed to do, and we were notified of it. And we are the ones that notified the Forest Service. They had no idea. And those kinds of public service things help keep us in their good graces, and they realize that we're worthwhile, and it's nice having us around. Plus,
one of the things that keeps us on site, of course, is the quality of our workmanship. Workmanship standards is some of the best in the industry, of course, commercial work and even government military work. we only accept that high level of workmanship and safety. And with the exception of Santa Cruz Island, because it gets kind of messy out there, as Brian said, you know, when you're on a helicopter trip, you know, and you only got 4 hours to work, you have to work quick and you don't always get things done in the neatest way. But if we could just be out there all the time, then, you know, we could get it all cleaned up. But having that high quality, when the other folks that are in the business come in and they look around, they say, my God, you know, these guys know what the hell they're doing. So, you know, they accept you and you're all part of the same team up there, which is really great. We haven't had any difficulties at any of the sites, no personnel issues or anything like that. You know, it runs very, very smooth. I'm surprised, not surprised, but, you know, I'm happy to see it go that way.
Yeah, it's everything's done very well. And adding to what Bill said there, that's even more important because a lot of these people don't have a lot of respect for ham radio people in general. You know, the San Ynez Peak has had guys come up and put repeaters up without permission. You know, just go stick an antenna on a mast without on a tower without asking. You know, putting things in the way of other people's antennas. You know, it's sort of a Wild West attitude with a lot of, not us, but a lot of other amateur radio people. They just go up there when there's nobody's looking and do whatever they want. And Bill's got stories. Just come down to the club station on a Saturday morning and he'll tell you about some of the bozos that have shown up at San Ynez Peak and other places.
Well, I gotta tell you, you know, that up at San Ynez Peak, there's only one other place for people to go, and that's John Franklin's buildings. You know, he has the buildings up there in 2 towers, and you know, it's not the people that are in his group. And by the way, the remote base people, of which there are probably at least 8 or 9, maybe even 10 remote base groups. So we're not the only system at San Ynez Peak. We are the only ones in one other group that's in the government building, and there's no space left up there. But if you go into John Franklin's building, and nobody ever gives John a heck of a lot of credit for what he's done since the beginning of time to keep everybody in line up there. And some of the people who do things that come in, you know, just think that they can take over a hilltop, just walk right in. And, you know, they're not a credit to anybody, but, you know, they don't know the difference. But I'm not going to say anything about the groups in John Franklin's building because they're all great remote base people. And you might think that that's a little private club and that kind of thing. But they have their way to do things and how to connect their systems, and we have our way. But, you know, we are a club and they are a club, but they're private clubs and they do it for sponsorship and to get the money to get up there and operate. And we have good relations with all of those folks, because those folks support us and we support them. So it does work pretty damn well.
All right, we got time for some questions here. Daryl, you got your hand up.
I'll have the video available, presentation to Bill.
I'm sorry again?
You still have that video available? I'm talking to Brian.
Yeah.
You still have that video available? We can show it to the group here, presentation of the plaque to Brian, to Bill. Dedication of.
Yeah.
That's on the website, I believe.
I think it's on the website.
Well, maybe everybody's seen it, maybe they haven't. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think that's on the website.
Okay.
Any Doc, go ahead. Mute. You're unmuted, or you're not muted, or you are muted.
A lot of people would like to have that button for me. So I heard you mention WinLink a couple of times, and when I was living up north, I on the Sheriff's Communications team in Alameda, I put a WinLink station, both VHF and HF, at my house and also at the Dublin Emergency Communications Center. and also in the sheriff's van, so that we had WinLink functioning. I can't even remember how I did it now, but there was the advantage to it was that that you're able to send email through via ham radio, and I also put one of those stations on the sheriff's high-speed patrol boat, which actually operated as far south as Los Angeles. So we had HF WinLink as well as VHF and VHF WinLink. Anyhow, one of the advantages is that for emergency communications is that it'll accept a digital attachment like a photograph. So you can not only send a situation report on what was going on, but you could send photographs along to the incident command post and to the emergency operations center. And I'm wondering if the club itself has established any WinLink stations anywhere in the system. I heard that there was a connection, but I didn't quite understand how that worked.
We did have one, and here's the problem with WinLink is that you need to have somebody who's going to take responsibility for keeping it updated and making sure that everything works. So if you want to operate a WinLink node, server node, you need to be active in the WinLink 2000 community and sort of, I don't think you have to sign an agreement, but part of the deal is that you have to agree to keep it updated with the latest software all the time. And it's a little bit of work. I mean, it takes some dedication on somebody's part because it's an ongoing job. And they want to make sure that whenever they push out an update to their WinLink system, that everybody on the system is operating with the same versions. So, you've got some maintenance going on there. In my experience around here, we used to do this as part of the digital net on Tuesdays. The HF WinLink was terrible. We'd often go 2-3 weeks without being able to send an email. And I started using packet radio for WinLink, and that was very reliable. The node that they had at Simi Police Department was always available. It was connected to the internet there with they had a good solid good high bandwidth. This is like 5 years ago. So now having high bandwidth is a lot more common. So it wouldn't be as hard. But they had a very good system there. I haven't done it in a while, so I don't know what the state of it is. But one of the features in the WinLink 2000 software is they'll tell you what stations are supposedly on the air. And you can get a little drop down and it'll have a list of all the stations and where they are, and it predicts the ones that you should be able to contact. Yeah. Well, we'd get off maybe 2 words and then it would disappear. And so we'd try another one. We'd literally spend an hour trying to just send a sentence, and it just wasn't working well. We ought to look again and see. It isn't that difficult to do from, if you've got some digital experience. But it was, I thought about maintaining it, but, you just end up spreading yourself so thin with all these things that you can't keep it all up to date. So, maybe someone will come along, or maybe there's somebody in the club now that would be interested in maintaining a WinLink node, because we have the capability for it. We just need somebody that can, they don't have to be computer experts, just learn how WinLink works and how to install the updates. Runs on Windows, so it's not totally unfamiliar to people. They don't have to be a Linux guru to make it work. It's just normal updates and that kind of thing. But you got to test it periodically, make sure it's still working, and so that it's available in emergencies.
It's after 9 o'clock, so I'm going to call it a day. 7-3, everybody.
Okay, Joe, you have a good evening. All right,
Well,
any other questions?
I do have some, I still have a couple of modems. They were a couple $1,000s a piece, so, and I'm not sure whether they're still, what level of Pactor they're up to now, whether they're still using Pactor as the error correcting protocol. But
well, if you do it with a computer, it builds a virtual modem in your computer. So if you can do WinLink without a TNC or any of that. So if you want to do it with packet, you're going to need like a Camtronics or something. And those were, yeah, we actually have a couple Pactor modems down at the club station that have been for sale forever. And the Camtronics, I have a couple Camtronics 9600s, I think, and they're going to last forever. I mean, it's not like, you know, they don't need to really be upgraded. They haven't changed the command set in years, and you know, they're super reliable. You know, you could put it in a box and pull it out 10 years later and it'd be still state of the art. So for this, I mean, there's only so fast that you can go over RF anyway.
Well, the Pactor.
Hey, Brian, keep me in mind.
Okay. Go ahead, Doc.
The Pactor is an error correcting protocol.
Yeah.
And so when you were talking about dropping the link and not being able to get through, first of all, probably had something to do with the sunspot cycle. I happened to be fortunate enough to do all the work that I did from New Guinea and other places during one of the peaks of the sunspot cycle, and so I got good HF communications on from the research ships that I was on. I took a Pactor station with me and operated from the ship, that sort of thing. And but Pactor is also it's a feeds back the information as to what was received and whether it was complete,
Yeah.
and resends it and all that stuff. So I'll see what Pactor modems I have here, what model they are. They were SCS, I think, from Germany, and what ones are at the station, and maybe I can add mine to that pile down there, whatever's going to be done with it.
Yeah, I think we're only allowed to use Pactor 1 and 2, and
well, Pactor 2 is what I was using. So
yeah, the Pactor 3 had encryption, and we're not allowed to use that, and so we're limited anyway. So I mean, old equipment is good for us. So the FCC rules limit us to the type of stuff that we can do. So any of the Pactor 1 or 2 modems will work fine for us.
Well, actually,
they are very expensive.
It was the same protocol, a very similar protocol to the one used for maritime teletype communications.
Yeah.
Eric, you know, they were using them on the cruise ships and the freighters and so forth.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's how they get their weather maps and all that kind of stuff. Well, now they're getting them from satellites, but they used to use the Pactor modems for getting charts and weather maps and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, I had them on the research ships at a time when those systems went down, and I was able to get information for the skipper on via the handbands, and so it worked out very well. But
did you say stripper?
For the skipper, for the captain.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I was after I retired in 2000, I volunteered on oceanographic research ships as a science junkie, or science flunky actually, working in the lab and working on deck and so forth. And I took my ham radios with me, and frequently when they couldn't get the information they needed via other means, I was able to get it using the ham radio, including my Pactor, including the WinLink system. There's another system called SailMail, which a lot of people are familiar with, because that very same system was used to keep yachties in contact with people ashore from their sailboats all over the world. So anyhow, I'll bring it down and get them out of mothballs and bring some of the manuals down and see what, when I finish building my station, see whether any of it will be useful for that kind of thing.
Any other questions? All right, everybody. Well, have a good weekend. And thank you, Bill, for showing up and filling in all the blanks here.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you for the presentation, Brian.
Oh, that was you, Michael? You're in the dark again.
Yeah, I'm still undercover.
Yeah. All right. Well, remember, we'll be down at the club station in the morning. So come by if you're out and about. We'll be there.
You know, if you just comb your hair, Michael, you could probably turn the light on and wouldn't bother us.
I got too many exes in town.
When he started saying something about strippers, I was starting to wonder where he really was.
Yeah, I got to get back.
Yeah.
Thanks.
See you guys later.
Okay. Thanks everybody for coming, and we'll do it again in a month. We may be doing it live in person next month, so
Hey.
we'll keep you posted.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody.